They topped the charts, ruled MTV, and had fans singing every word. These pop princesses once defined style, sound, and stardom, but it's 2025, and their looks have evolved just as much as their music. Can you still recognize them today? You'll have 5 seconds to guess each one from their current look before we reveal the pop icon they once were. Get ready for a dazzling trip through music history. This is Then versus Now. Beanie spit raw truths with rock a fella power in this street anthem. At 51, he's still respected for lyrical authenticity. Bahamadia's cool flow and poetic bars made her an underground favorite. At 58, she's still teaching and speaking truth through art. BG coined the term that defined a decade in this catchy hit. At 45, he remains a legend in the Cash Money legacy. Go Shorty, It's Your Birthday made 50 Cent the club king overnight. At 47, he balances music, business, and film with swagger. Exhibit's rugged tone and charisma made X an MTV staple. At 50, he's still respected both in music and on screen. Twista's lightning speed rhymes and Kanye collab lit up the charts. At 52, he still holds the crown for fastest flow in the game. Trick Daddy brought the Miami party to the world with this bop. At 51, he's still a Southern staple with grit and legacy. Talib's conscious rhymes over Kanye's beat became an anthem for purpose. At 50, he's still a voice of truth in lyrical hip-hop. T.I. brought trap music into the spotlight with Southern swagger. At 45, he balances activism, acting, and classic ATL bars. Snoop's smooth flow and laid-back vibe made this track an instant classic. At 53, Uncle Snoop is still everywhere: music, brands, and pop culture. Sheik kept D-Block raw with real street vibes and unfiltered energy. At 49, he still commands respect in the underground. RZA crafted the sonic blueprint of Wu-Tang and the 90s. At 56, he's a multi-hyphenate genius beyond music. Redman's wild style and raw energy took over clubs nationwide. At 55, he's still jumping on tracks with his classic Chaos. Queen Latifah demanded respect and gave us an anthem. At 55, she rules music, TV, and movies with grace. Andre's heartfelt apology track hit all the feels in 2000. At 48, he remains a poetic and unpredictable trailblazer. Nella's hometown anthem had everyone singing along in 2000. At 44, he's still dropping hits with that iconic St. Louis charm. Nas painted poetic pictures of NYC streets with his legendary lyricism. At 51, he continues to be a voice of conscience in hip-hop. Murphy Lee showed lyrical wit beyond St. Lunatic's party vibes. At 44, he continues to drop verses with signature bounce. Mo's blended storytelling and soul into one unforgettable anthem. At 52, he remains a quiet genius of the culture. Get You Are Freak On became a global call-to-dance anthem. At 54, Missy's still pushing boundaries in music and style. Method Man's solo breakout proved he was a star beyond Wu-Tang. At 54, he juggles acting, rhyming, and aging like wine. Bleak and Jay-Z created club magic in this Y2K favorite. At 47, he stays active behind scenes and in legacy circles. Light's voice was powerful and smooth in this Queen Latifah collab. At 54, she's mentoring and motivating the next generation. Master P built No Limit into a Southern empire off hits like this. At 55, he's still grinding with business, movies, and more. Luda dropped catchy hooks and fast flows that lit up every radio station. At 48, he balances rap, movies, and entrepreneurship easily. Wayne's slick delivery began his rise as rap's most prolific lyricist. At 42, he's still spitting verses that cut deep and wide. Lil' Kim's bold swagger redefined female rap bravado on MTV. At 46, she's still owning stages with fierce confidence. She came hard with bars and bold hair, blazing trails in hip-hop. At 56, she's still respected as a lyrical pioneer. Mike made his bold debut with clever lyrics and bold topics. At 50, he's now a political voice and rap powerhouse. Juvenile made a whole generation move with this Cash Money classic. At 50, he's still touring and repping New Orleans. Juelz brought youth and punch to the Dipset wave. At 43, he still rocks stages with that classic New York energy. Jada's bars and confidence made this an East Coast anthem. At 50, he's still punching hard in every verse he drops. Ja Rule made romantic thug anthems a global trend with this hit. At 49, he's still rocking shows and chasing business deals. Havoc's beat and Mobb Deep's energy made this remix unforgettable. At 51, he continues to produce timeless East Coast heat. Foxy Brown brought fashion, fire, and finesse to late 90s rap. At 47, she still carries her Brooklyn legacy with pride. Fat Joe blended street and smooth with Ashanti on this timeless hit. At 54, he's still relevant and evolving with the times. Eve's collab with Gwen Stefani topped charts and broke barriers. At 44, she's still a boss in style and empowerment. Eminem shocked the world with his clever wordplay and bold personality. At 52, he still surprises fans with sharp lyrics and fearless delivery. Dre's production redefined West Coast sound for a new generation of rap heads. At 60 in 2025, he still sets the standard behind the boards. Common brought love and poetry to the forefront of rap with this track. At 53, he's still inspiring both artists and activists. Chingy's catchy slang and bouncy beat made everyone say thur. At 45 in 2025, he's still part of early 2000s nostalgia tours. Charla's slick rhymes and sharp visuals made her a standout MC. At 50, she remains an icon of rap elegance. Before Gnarls Barkley, CeeLo gave us funk and flair on this solo banger. At 50, his voice still turns heads and hearts. Busta's rapid-fire delivery turned heads and set records in early 2000s. At 53, he's still a force of energy and unmatched flow. Buba's country twist on rap made Ugly a surprising hit. At 48, he still embraces Southern rap with pride. Big Bois Funk and Charisma made this solo jam a crossover hit. At 49, he keeps reinventing while staying cool and classic. From bubblegum pop to powerhouse performances, these queens continue to shine in 2025. So how many did you guess right? Let us know your score in the comments, and who had the most iconic transformation. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more star-studded then versus now spotlights.